You don't get money to learn, you learn to get money. This is your first class in Kingdom Finance. Take notes. Chosen ones, listen with your spirit open and your defenses down. This is not another video drifting past your screen, not another voice trying to compete for your attention, and not another message designed to hype you for a moment and leave you unchanged tomorrow. This is a message from God, arriving to you in exact divine alignment. You are here because something within you is already awake. Your spiritual awakening did not start today, but today it recognizes itself with clarity. You did not stumble into this moment. You were called, selected, and positioned, and I speak to you now as someone who understands the weight and responsibility of that calling. I speak as a seasoned guide, not impressed by noise, not seduced by trends, and not afraid to tell the truth plainly. I have watched generations rise and fall because they misunderstood wealth, power, and purpose. Hear this with calm certainty and deep love. Kingdom Finance is not a fantasy, and it is not a prize for ambition. It is a responsibility entrusted only to those who can carry it without being consumed by it. This is not motivation. This is not theory. This is a message from God, and it is reaching you now because your divine calling requires understanding that was never handed to you easily. If you feel a quiet confirmation in your spirit as these words land, that is not emotion, that is recognition. Divine alignment often feels like remembering something you somehow always knew. Heaven speaks when the soul is ready to listen, and your spiritual awakening has brought you to a threshold where ignorance can no longer protect you. What you do not learn now would cost you later. Now receive the paradox without resistance. You are learning Kingdom Finance while you appear to have nothing. No surplus, no reserve, no visible proof that wealth belongs anywhere near your life. And that is exactly how heaven designed it. God never prepares people for abundance after provision arrives. He prepares them before. Heaven does not fund untrained hands. It forms stewards in secret, long before it releases resources in public. What you have called lack, God has been using as a classroom. This is where many abandon their assignment. They believe money will teach them how to manage money, but Kingdom Finance works in reverse. Stewardship comes first. Alignment comes first. Character comes first. Wealth stewardship is proven when there is little to manage, not when there is much to display. Your current season is not proof that you were overlooked. It is proof that you were trusted with principles before provision. Understand this deeply and let it settle. God is not withholding from you. He is building you. Every moment of obscurity, every stretch that tested your patience, every silent evaluation that no one applauded has been forming internal structure. Kingdom Finance demands internal order before external increase. Those who skip this formation collapse under weight they were never trained to carry. You are being spared that outcome. Your lack is not a curse. It is training for wealth stewardship. Many chosen ones struggle here because comparison distorts perception. You look at others who appear ahead, louder, richer, or more visible, and you assume you are behind. But heaven does not measure progress by speed or applause. It measures readiness. Spiritual awakening sharpens discernment, not envy. You are not late. You are on schedule. Divine alignment rarely looks impressive at first, but it is always exact. Some of you have wondered whether the pressure you feel is a sign to quit or a signal to rise. Hear this clearly now. Pressure reveals value. Nothing is pressed that has no purpose. The resistance you endured was not random opposition. It was confirmation that your light carries weight. The war intensified because your awareness increased. When spiritual awakening deepens, responsibility follows. This moment marks a separation from old thinking, borrowed fear, and inherited limitation. Awareness creates accountability, and accountability awakens authority inside those who finally accept the weight of their divine calling without running from it. You are not being hardened. You are being strengthened. I speak with firmness because I respect the light within you. The war is real. There is a war for clarity, a war for obedience, and a war for identity. Darkness does not fear noise. It fears disciplined light. Your light is not optional. It is necessary. That is why confusion tried to delay you. That is why discouragement tried to silence you. That is why distraction tried to exhaust you. None of it succeeded, because your divine calling carries authority. Circle back once more and hear it again. Without doubt, this is a message from God. You are not imagining the pull you felt. You are not exaggerating the urgency in your spirit. You were called because the kingdom needs stewards who understand money without worshipping it, who can manage increase without losing themselves, and who can build without becoming proud. Kingdom finance is not about getting rich. It is about being trusted. As you move forward from here, remember this truth and walk in it daily. Stewardship begins in invisibility. What you honor in secret determines what you are trusted with in public. What you learn now will protect you later. What you submit to now will multiply through you later. Stay present, stay humble, stay awake. If this touched your soul, if something inside you rose and agreed before your mind could argue, comment 111, because you know it now with certainty. You were called. Faithful preparation before provision. Chosen one, circle back to the truth you heard at the beginning, because repetition here is not redundancy, it is reinforcement. This is a message from God. You are not imagining the weight of these words. You were called into this understanding because your spiritual awakening has reached a level where surface truth is no longer enough. The war is real, and the battlefield is preparation. Before anything is released into your hands, heaven measures what is already formed inside you. Faithful preparation is heaven's primary qualification system. Not talent, not desire, not passion. Preparation. God does not ask if you want increase. He observes if you are ready for responsibility. Faithful preparation is how heaven tests alignment without risk. It is how God measures trust before movement. Many believe faith alone qualifies them, but faith without preparation creates collapse. Preparation is faith made practical, obedience made consistent, and discipline made quiet. This is why God entrusts millions in seed form rather than currency. Seed carries potential without visibility. Currency reveals what already exists. Heaven releases seeds to test stewardship at a scale that cannot yet impress ego. Ideas, skills, relationships, small opportunities, limited resources, time blocks, and internal convictions are all seeds. The chosen one who despises seeds disqualifies themselves from harvest. Kingdom finance begins when you respect small beginnings as serious responsibility. There is spiritual danger in desiring wealth without maturity. Desire without structure creates hunger that cannot be satisfied. It opens doors to compromise, impatience, and comparison. When increase arrives before character, it amplifies instability. God protects his chosen ones from premature exposure by delaying provision until inner order is established. Delay is not denial, it is insulation. You are not being ignored. You are being guarded. Your daily habits reveal readiness for divine increase more accurately than your prayers ever could. How you manage time, how you speak when unseen, how you handle frustration, how you respond to inconvenience, how you treat what cannot reward you, all of it speaks. Heaven reads patterns, not promises. Faithful preparation is not dramatic, it is consistent. It is boring to the ego and beautiful to God. Your current season of nothingness is exposing thinking patterns you would never notice in abundance. Scarcity reveals beliefs about ownership. Do you believe everything belongs to you, or do you recognize stewardship? Lack exposes entitlement. Do you expect reward without responsibility? Pressure reveals accountability. Do you blame circumstances, or do you adjust structure? This season is diagnostic. It shows you who you are before money arrives to mask it. Think of preparation as soil. Rich soil is quiet, dark, and unseen, yet it determines everything that grows. Shallow soil cannot sustain deep roots. Think of yourself as a vessel. A vessel does not choose its contents. It must be clean, strong, and properly shaped to hold what is poured into it. Think of foundations. No one celebrates foundations, but they decide whether the building survives storms. Think of altars. What you consistently sacrifice to reveals what you truly worship. Kingdom finance has never been about cash. It has always been about capacity. Money does not expand people. It exposes them. Increase does not create strength. It reveals where strength already exists. God increases those who can carry weight without losing alignment. Capacity is emotional, spiritual, mental, and ethical. Cash is simply a tool that follows capacity. Preparation is invisible, but it is eternally recorded. Heaven does not forget obedience performed in silence. Every disciplined decision compounds. Every resisted shortcut strengthens trust. Every unseen act of integrity builds spiritual credit. The world rewards visibility. God rewards faithfulness. You are not wasting time. You are accumulating authority. Your divine calling is directly connected to kingdom finance, not as luxury but as assignment. Wealth in the kingdom is not a prize, it is provision for purpose. God funds missions, not fantasies. He supplies assignments, not egos. When you understand this, envy dissolves and patience strengthens. You stop asking when and start asking who you must become. This is where the war intensifies. Darkness does not fear ambition. It fears disciplined light. Your spiritual awakening made you a threat to disorder. That is why resistance appeared when clarity arrived. That is why distractions multiplied when focus increased. That is why impatience whispers that preparation is unnecessary. Do not listen. Your light is necessary. Your formation is essential. You were called because you can handle truth without collapsing under it. Faithful preparation is not punishment. It is proof of trust. God prepares deeply those he plans to use widely. Stay steady. Stay obedient. Stay awake. What you are becoming matters more than what you are receiving. As we move forward, understand this transition clearly. Mindset is the container for multiplication. What you believe determines what you can hold. What you carry internally decides what can flow externally. That is where we go next. If this touched your soul, if something inside you confirmed this before your mind could argue, comment 111. Because you know it. You were called. Wealth stewardship begins in the mind. Chosen one, return again to the first truth, because truth must be anchored before it can multiply. This is a message from God. You are not imagining the clarity that is settling in you. You were called because your spiritual awakening has reached the stage where thought patterns must be purified, not just emotions inspired. The war is real, and in this phase the battlefield is the mind. Your light is necessary, and light must be structured to remain stable. Money has never followed effort. It has always followed identity. Many work hard and remain limited because effort without identity produces exhaustion, not expansion. Heaven responds to who you are becoming, not how busy you appear. When identity matures, resources respond naturally. When identity remains fractured, increase becomes dangerous. Kingdom finance flows toward those whose self-perception aligns with responsibility. Heaven reads internal stewardship long before external accounts change. God observes how you think about provision, how you speak about lack, how you imagine increase, and how you react to others' success. Thoughts are blueprints, words are permissions, decisions are declarations. Before money moves, mindset must settle. Before overflow appears, order must be established internally. You cannot outgrow the system you believe in. Scarcity thinking blocks divine increase more effectively than disobedience. Some of you were taught to survive, not to steward. Survival thinking shrinks vision and hoards resources. It fears loss more than it honors assignment. Another mindset error is spiritual guilt, believing wealth is unholy or corrupting. This false humility quietly rejects responsibility while appearing righteous. A third error is entitlement, expecting increase without structure. All three block flow. Many spiritual people unconsciously reject wealth because they associate it with corruption, ego, or distraction. But rejection does not produce purity. It produces limitation. Wealth is neutral. It magnifies intention. Avoiding money does not make someone holy. Misusing money makes someone immature. God does not call his people to poverty. He calls them to stewardship. Avoidance is not alignment. Wealth must be redefined correctly, or it will always remain distant. Wealth is a tool for order. It organizes chaos. It funds solutions. It creates stability. Wealth is a tool for expansion. It multiplies impact. It carries vision further than words alone. Wealth is a tool for service. It answers needs without announcing itself. When wealth is seen as service, fear dissolves and clarity increases. Kingdom systems operate on laws, not luck. Flow means resources move, not stagnate. Assignment means money has direction, not indulgence. Multiplication means increase is expected, not accidental. Accountability means every resource answers to purpose. These laws operate whether you understand them or not. Alignment with them determines experience within them. Disciplined thinking proves readiness for scale. Can you think long-term without anxiety? Can you delay gratification without resentment? Can you imagine increase without panic? Can you release control without fear? These are mental tests of capacity. Scale does not begin with numbers. It begins with stability. God scales those who remain grounded as things expand. Spiritual awakening includes financial maturity. Awareness without responsibility creates imbalance. Illumination without discipline creates instability. True awakening integrates spirit, mind, and action. You cannot be awake spiritually and careless financially without conflict. Alignment brings wholeness. God does not separate sacred and practical. He unifies them. Wealth stewardship begins with thoughts, words, and decisions. What you repeatedly think becomes belief. What you repeatedly say becomes agreement. What you repeatedly choose becomes identity. Change the inner pattern and the outer pattern must follow. This is not positive thinking. This is kingdom order. Remember again, this is a message from God. You were called because your mind is being prepared to carry what your hands will soon manage. The war is real, but clarity is stronger than confusion. Your light is necessary, but light must be focused to be effective. As we move forward, understand this clearly. Obedience is the final gate before overflow. Mindset prepares the container. Obedience opens the flow. If this touched your soul, comment 111. Because you know it, you were called. Obedience unlocks divine increase. Chosen one, return once more to the beginning, because obedience only makes sense when truth is firmly established. This is a message from God. You are not imagining the seriousness of this moment. You were called into this understanding because your spiritual awakening has reached the phase where agreement must become action. The war is real, and at this level the war is not against lack, but against resistance to obedience. Your light is necessary, and light that refuses instruction becomes unstable. Obedience is not emotion. It is precision. Emotion reacts. Obedience responds. Emotion fluctuates. Obedience remains steady. Many confuse passion with alignment, but passion without obedience creates chaos. God does not look for excitement. He looks for accuracy. Obedience is hearing clearly and moving exactly, even when feelings disagree. This is why obedience unlocks divine increase. Increase requires order, and order is produced by precision. God tests stewardship through small, uncomfortable instructions, because comfort does not reveal character. Small instructions expose whether you trust God beyond preference. Give when it feels illogical. Wait when it feels slow. Speak when silence feels safer. Release when holding feels wiser. These moments are not random. They are examinations. Heaven watches what you do when obedience costs convenience. The chosen one who obeys in small things is marked for larger responsibility. Delay often exists to refine obedience, not to frustrate desire. Many assume delay means something is wrong, but often delay means something is being corrected internally. Obedience matures patience. It removes urgency driven by fear. It replaces haste with trust. God delays outcomes to align hearts. If increase arrived too early, it would amplify misalignment. Delay protects you from yourself. There is a clear difference between hustle and alignment. Hustle is driven by anxiety. Alignment is driven by trust. Hustle exhausts. Alignment sustains. Hustle demands immediate results. Alignment follows timing. Hustle says do more. Alignment says do what you are instructed. Kingdom finance does not reward frantic movement. It responds to ordered obedience. Many work hard but move sideways because they are active without alignment. Divine increase flows toward trustworthy stewards because trust is heaven's currency. Trust is built through obedience over time. God entrusts more to those who have proven they can handle less without complaint. Trustworthy stewards do not negotiate obedience. They execute it. They do not require full understanding before acting. They move because God spoke. That is why increase follows them. Obedience is proof of readiness for generational impact. God does not release resources meant to bless generations into hands that cannot obey instructions today. Legacy requires submission. Generational wealth without generational wisdom becomes generational damage. Obedience forms wisdom. Wisdom sustains increase beyond one lifetime. You are not being prepared for yourself alone. Your obedience echoes further than you realize. Your divine calling is inseparable from kingdom finance. Calling requires provision. Provision requires stewardship. Stewardship requires obedience. This is the chain. Break one link and flow stops. God does not fund ambition. He funds assignment. When obedience aligns you with assignment, provision responds. This is not mystical. It is ordered. Increase carries responsibility. not status. Status feeds ego. Responsibility builds impact. Many desire recognition, but recognition is heavy. Increase exposes motives. It magnifies intention. God releases increase to those who will not idolize it. Obedience keeps increase in its proper place. It reminds you that resources are tools, not trophies. Here is the truth that must be established clearly. God funds assignments, not egos. Ego demands control. Assignment requires surrender. Ego wants credit. Assignment seeks completion. Ego competes. Assignment serves. Obedience dismantles ego. That is why it is required before increase arrives. Without obedience, money becomes a master. With obedience, money remains a servant. You may feel stretched at this point, and that is intentional. Stretching increases capacity. Resistance reveals where surrender is incomplete. Do not confuse discomfort with misalignment. Often, discomfort is confirmation that growth is occurring. The war intensifies when obedience threatens old patterns. Stand firm. This resistance is temporary. Alignment is permanent. Return again to the truth. This is a message from God. You were called because you can obey without applause. You were chosen because you can carry responsibility without entitlement. Your spiritual awakening is not about feeling elevated. It is about becoming dependable. Heaven trusts dependable people with increase. Your light is necessary. Not loud light, not flashy light. Disciplined light, obedient light. Light that moves when instructed and rests when told. The war is real, but obedience is stronger than opposition. Stay aligned. Stay responsive. Stay submitted. As we move toward the conclusion, understand this clearly. You are not being denied. You are being trained. Training always feels slower than reward, but it lasts longer. What God is forming in you now will support what He releases later. If this touched your soul, if something in you recognized truth without argument, comment 111, because you know it. You were called. Walking in alignment after activation. Chosen one, this is the part many never receive, because they leave once the fire is lit, but before the walk is explained. Understand this clearly from the beginning. This is still a message from God. You are not imagining the weight you feel now. You were called not only to hear truth, but to live in alignment after it has been revealed. Spiritual awakening does not end with understanding. It begins with responsibility. Activation without alignment creates confusion. Alignment without consistency creates delay. What you have received is not meant to be consumed emotionally and then forgotten practically. It is meant to reshape how you move, decide, wait, speak, and respond. The war is real, and after revelation comes resistance, because resistance always follows clarity. That does not mean you are wrong. It means you are advancing. Walking in alignment means learning how to remain steady when nothing dramatic happens immediately. Many expect instant visible change after activation, but kingdom order works deeper first. Roots before fruit, structure before scale. You are not failing because everything did not change overnight. You are stabilizing. Alignment feels quiet because it removes chaos. Silence after truth is not emptiness. It is order settling in. Your divine calling requires endurance, not just excitement. Excitement opens the door. Endurance keeps it open. This is where discipline becomes sacred. How you structure your days, how you protect your focus, how you manage your energy, and how you guard your thoughts all become acts of obedience. Alignment is lived in ordinary moments, not spiritual highs. Do not be surprised if relationships shift. Alignment exposes misalignment. Some connections were seasonal, not permanent. Others were distractions, not assignments. Letting go is not loss when it creates clarity. God removes what cannot follow where you are going. Trust this process. Your light is necessary, but it must not be diluted by compromise. You will also notice heightened sensitivity. What once felt normal may now feel heavy. That is discernment sharpening. Spiritual awakening refines appetite. You no longer consume what weakens you. This includes conversations, environments, habits, and internal dialogue. Alignment is protective. It narrows the path, not to limit you, but to preserve you. Remain patient with yourself. Growth does not eliminate humanity. You will still learn, adjust, and refine. Alignment is not perfection. It is direction. When you drift, return quickly. When you fall, rise calmly. Condemnation is not from God. Correction is. There is a difference. One paralyzes, the other restores. You are not alone in this walk, even when it feels solitary. God often removes noise to deepen communication. Solitude is not abandonment, it is intimacy. Pay attention in quiet moments. Insight often arrives without announcement. Guidance comes when the mind is still enough to hear it. Remember again, this is a message from God. You were called because you can carry alignment without applause. You can walk faithfully without constant reassurance. That is strength, not weakness. The war is real, but alignment makes you unshakable. Your light is necessary because it brings order where confusion ruled. It brings peace where striving dominated. It brings clarity where fear once lived. Walk steadily, stay obedient, stay aligned. What is coming will meet you prepared, not desperate. If this touched your soul, comment 111, because you know it now. You were called. Conclusion. Chosen one, come back to the beginning one final time, and let the truth settle fully, not just in your understanding, but in your identity. This was never random. This was never accidental. This was a message from God, delivered to you in precise timing, because your spiritual awakening has reached a point where truth must be sealed, not questioned. You were called. Not because you are perfect, but because you are willing. Not because you are finished, but because you are faithful. The war is real, and your light is necessary. You are a chosen one, whether you have fully accepted that identity yet or not. Being chosen does not mean being spared from pressure. It means being trusted with responsibility. It means being trained where others are entertained. It means being refined where others are rushed. Throughout this journey, you have been shown that kingdom finance is not about numbers in an account, but order in the soul. It is stewardship before surplus, preparation before provision, obedience before overflow, and alignment before acceleration. You have learned that stewardship precedes increase because heaven does not gamble with resources. You have learned that preparation happens in silence, long before recognition ever arrives. You have learned that obedience is precision, not emotion, and that alignment is stronger than hustle. These are not motivational ideas. They are kingdom laws. They operate whether believed or ignored. Your awareness of them is not a burden. It is an advantage. Hear this clearly now. Your current lack is not rejection. It is temporary training. It is not proof that something went wrong. It is evidence that something important is being built. God does not abandon his chosen ones in preparation. He stays close, watches carefully, and measures growth that others cannot see. What feels slow to you is strategic to heaven. What feels hidden is protected. I speak prophetically now, not to excite you, but to steady you. Divine increase is coming, but it will not come to impress others. It will come to empower assignment. It will come with responsibility attached, not applause. It will come in a way that requires wisdom, not pride. When it arrives, you will recognize it, not by how it makes you feel, but by how naturally it fits who you have become. Increase will not shock you. It will match you. This message reached you on time because timing matters. God's message does not arrive early or late. It arrives when the receiver is ready. Your spiritual awakening positioned you to hear this without distortion. Your divine calling demanded clarity, not comfort. That is why this teaching was firm, calm, and uncompromising. Love that does not tell the truth is not love. God loves you enough to prepare you thoroughly. As you move forward, patience will protect you. Discipline will stabilize you. Faithfulness will distinguish you. You do not need to announce what you are becoming. Consistency will reveal it. You do not need to rush what God is unfolding. Timing is part of the blessing. Stay faithful in small things. Stay obedient in quiet moments. Stay aligned when no one is watching. Remember, the war is real, but it is not a war you fight with panic or noise. It is fought with clarity, obedience, and trust. Darkness loses authority where light is disciplined. Your light is not fragile. It is focused. It is trained. It is necessary. You were not awakened to retreat. You were awakened to steward. Let this be sealed now. This was a message from God. You were called. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not disqualified. You are being formed, and formation always precedes function in the kingdom. If you feel aligned with this truth, if your spirit agrees without needing proof, comment 777 as a mark of alignment and trust in divine timing. Let it be your quiet agreement with heaven. And if this touched your soul, if something deep inside you recognized this without explanation, comment 111, because you know it now, without doubt and without fear. You were called.